This podcast is brought to you by Independent Building Advice. IBA acknowledges traditional owners of the land and waters this podcast is recorded on. If you find this episode helpful, follow us for more so we can continue putting out free value for all homeowners in Australia. It really goes a long way. Enjoy the episode.
So often we talk about designing your kitchen and getting your kitchen right for living your home, making sure that you've got the triangle, that's where the sink and the hot plate and the fridge and everything lines up in your home, getting the right layout and floor plan, which is great. And you get advice from us or interior designers or architects about how to make that home work for you. However, what we've got on today, we've got Don Hancey on today. Don Hancey is a professional chef. I'll give you a bit of a bio on him in a second. But basically, we want to get a professional chef's perspective on kitchen layout, home, what you can do to your home to enhance your home for you with kitchen, whether it's recreational kitchen cooking, I guess, or if it's actually going out there and making sure that you can cater for a big dinner party and so forth. And I'll share with you some how Don has actually helped me with my helping people with kitchen design a bit later in. So I'll give you a bit of a bio on Don. First of all, welcome aboard.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is.
Wherever people are listening, right? It could be 2 o'clock in the morning, it could be 2 o'clock in the evening, who knows? So our guest today is Don Hancey, West Australia's official food ambassador and one of the most respected voices in Australian food. Over more than 40 years, Don has built an extraordinary career opening award-winning restaurants, dining, running silver service events and cooking for world superstars and their crews when they perform here in Perth, which we'll go into shortly. Don has worked alongside some of the greats, Neil Perry, Christine Mansfield, Pete Evans, Poe, Colin Fasenage, if I pronounce this right or wrong, Manu, Peter Kuravita, Anna Carr, and much more. Have I got all those names?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
I'll let you keep going.
Thank you, Don. I hope they get Don Hancey right as well. But and on the international stage, he showcased WA seafood with top talents at the James Beard Foundation in New York, the suffrages in London, in Shanghai, Brussels, and across China with East versus West. His reach has been global, and his heart is firmly in WA. Is it right so far?
Yeah, keep going. You got 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's a tireless advocate of our state's produce, especially in the lesser known seafood species, and a driving force behind clean, green, and sustainable fishing practices. Along the way, Don has poured his time and talent into countless charity events. I worked alongside you with Cocktails for Cambodia, from the chef's long table lunch to Cocktails for Cambodia, raising millions while mentoring for the next generation of chefs. And I've absolutely seen that. And when the world's biggest names tour Perth, Don is the chef they call. He is a go-to talent trusted to feed international acts and their crews, bringing some passionate professional to the backstage catering he does to fine dining. Now, although Don is a big champion of all this, I know him best as the man who took the time out to chef Lou and that's my wife's wedding 19 years ago, which is a long time ago. And people still today absolutely rave about the food that was at my wedding. No one raves about my speech, but you were amazing. I just think you're a great guy. I can't think of anyone better. I'd rather get on the podcast who's a professional, but down-to-earth bloke at the same time. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Bane. I won't bring up the fact that you still owe me $50 from your wedding quote. But anyway, just going back over that, no wonder I feel tired sometimes.
Yeah. Mate, it was 73-page bio. I went, how do I condense this to not a 25-hour podcast on just your bio? But hopefully I've given you giving the audience a good understanding where we're coming from.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Look, I was lucky enough to fall into this pathway into hospitality at school. I wasn't great at school. I remember being in primary school, I had difficulty telling the time. And I remember this one teacher, I think it was in 7th grade, the last one, and you had to stand up and tell the time on the clock, and I couldn't do it. And that's haunted me for years. I finally got over it.
Dyslexia or dyspraxia?
Yeah.
Dyslexia, was it?
Yeah. But that just makes me realise that, people say, how are you going? I say, I'm just living the dream. And they go, that's awesome. And then I quantify that by saying, hey, we're all human. And every now and again you have a bad hair day, and every now and again one of your dreams turns to a nightmare. But you just keep going and going and going. And that's what my life's been like in hospitality, just starting as an apprentice cook in Bunbury at 16. Then I had to come to Perth because there was no training colleges in Bunbury. Came up to Perth, started at what is now Kings Park it was Kings Park Garden Restaurant. It's now Fraser's.
Fraser's, yeah. Yep.
Did a couple of years there. Ended up finishing my apprenticeship at the Sheraton Hotel, which was really good because...
Well, it was a heyday at the Sheraton, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. And that taught me discipline because hotels like that have very strict rules. You know, you got to turn up on time. You got to clean chef's jacket. If you make a mess, clean down. They taught me a lot of good basics because at 17 I knew everything.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's been an amazing journey and still going. Like it's just, I'm so fortunate to have fallen into this hospitality pathway.
Well, it's funny you mention that. Like, it's especially when you were at school, they wouldn't have identified, that you couldn't read the time that well. And you're a very smart person, obviously. So, you falling into being a chef is something you're passionate about. I'm sure there's a lot of fortune that came into that. Was that through your parents or someone? How did you get introduced to cooking down that path?
Well, some people have a plan for life, and I never have. Even now, it's in my, I call them twilight years. I mean, I turned the big 70 later this year.
Right, congratulations.
I know I don't look it, but
you look fresh.
Every now and again, what did you say? Yeah. But I never liked school, but when I went and started a diploma in accounting, and I'm not good at maths, so I try and look back and go, why would I have done that?
Why?
So good fortune, halfway through the first year, a friend of mine in Bunbury, a young chef, said there's a job going as an apprentice cook at the Bustle Motor Hotel. And back in those days, Bayan, they had what we call the Sunday session. It was 3 till 7, and it was an amazing time for bands and live music and just generally people having a great time. And my friend said to me, there's a job going as an apprentice cook at the Bustle Motor Hotel. They got live bands on a Sunday. And I said, that's me. So
I'm in, yeah.
I quit the school and the diploma in accounting, and I was just good at cooking.
Yeah.
I just fell into it.
Yeah. And I think that's fortunate because if you didn't find it, you could have gone a completely different pathway in your life and who knows where that could have gone. But there's so many people I know who are chefs and cooks who have just fallen into it and just fell in love. And it shows you that the schooling system's not for everybody.
No.
And it also shows you that, you carved your own way, but you haven't just become a chef. You've excelled at everything. This could have been a 9-page document I read out, but it's just amazing. So you're retired now, or semi-retired, or as retired as you can be?
I call it semi-retired because I've still got a very active commercial kitchen business going.
Yep.
And I've got a great office there with a massive window that looks into the kitchen. I rent my kitchen out to RTOs, which are registered training organisations,
Yep.
all international students, all looking for PR, permanent residency visas.
Yep.
With nothing wrong with that. But and then I have about 18 to 20 casual hirers that come and make food, and they often use my kitchen to develop their products and then get them out to market.
Yep.
Some succeed, some don't, but that's life as well,
Yeah, I think I was talking to Ben a while ago. He mentioned doing crackwurst in your kitchen. Yeah, so he's there's it's all. Yeah, I mean that's amazing to have those commercial kitchens set up, and we want to go more into the commercial kitchens and versus residential in a moment. But you're cooking for you're catering for some of the biggest bands that came to Perth. I always love your stories. I was hoping you could share some of them with us about who you've catered for in Perth and what was the business, what was the setup, and how did it sort of work first of all?
Well, I had the good fortune to meet Brad Mellon, who had Mellon Events. Now, Mellon Events, after COVID and that, there was obviously no events happening. I think he sold out to what they call Live Nation, which is one of the world's largest event management companies. So they were bringing a lot of, and they still do, a lot of bands and individual celebrities to WA. And I had the good fortune. The last big gigs I did was at Optus Stadium.
Yeah, wow.
And that was Coldplay.
Yeah. Oh, you did the Coldplay one?
I did Coldplay.
The last one or the one before that?
No, the last one.
Oh, wow. So you did Channel Stadium, RAC, HBF Stadium as well?
HBF Stadium, that was Harry Styles.
Yeah, oh, mate. Yeah. I actually really like Harry Styles.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah.
And the reason that I did so well with feeding these artists is because most of these artists spend time in luxury hotels or airlines and they don't get a chance to get real food.
Yeah.
So my food was what I call real. It was fresh, it was local, and it's a little bit like mum's cooking. And I just remember Harry Styles and also Coldplay just being really appreciative of sort of home-style cooked foods.
Look, I don't know them, but they strike me as the kind of personalities that are down to earth, that they would actually go, you know what, I appreciate what we're getting here. So you're catering for not just them, but the whole crew?
It was sort of what we call back of house catering, AAA pass to get there.
Yeah.
And especially when we were doing all the days on the greens at Kings Park,
yeah.
you would have this compound at the back that was only for the artists and all the backup artists, the stage manager, the sound managers.
Yeah, just for space for them to breathe and move around and not be accosted. Yeah.
Have some privacy.
Yeah.
And there was just some awesome celebs that would come up, and we would do a lot of hands-on cooking so they can see it happening.
Oh, wow. In front of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they would often come up and say, where's this from? How do you cook it? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that was...
Actually, you were telling me recently someone was really intrigued as to how you did it all. One of the main artists.
Yes, I can't tell you who that is.
Yeah, I know. I think you said that to me last time. You could tell me who that was as well. But they were just fascinated by what they were seeing in front of you was more the point. Yeah.
And this artist had a dickhead manager, excuse the French, but he wanted a compound within a compound. So you've got your compound where only AAA people can come.
Yeah.
But he wanted a separate tent. Marquee in that, because at Kings Park you've got to bump everything in.
Yeah.
And there's a band called riders, and a band can put a rider in, and that's what they want in their fridge in their room.
Okay.
And it's all these different foods and spirits and all that kind of stuff. But this guy, the manager he came and complained that the bin wasn't the right size or something like this.
Yeah. But you can't perform if the bin's not the right size. Personally, we'd never do a podcast here if the bins weren't the right size. So, this is great that you can do that food for them. Are many artists open to Australian produce? Like they open to I do want to know about what you offer here in Perth, or are they trying to stay homely, or what are they trying to do?
Yes, as I said, if they're flying around the world, it's 5-star hotels, they wanted to know where their food was coming from.
Yeah.
And I relentlessly and passionately promote West Australian produce.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get hold of.
But are they open to that, or do they want to stick to I know that this burger is what I like. I don't want to risk getting sick. Obviously, you're a professional, but I'm sure in some countries they could get barley belly or sick or something like that. Is that massive on their mind, or are they?
That's a good question, because yes, some are very particular about exactly what they want.
Yep.
And if you're doing a dish and they want the lettuce picked at 3 a.m. on the right side of the mountain by a Buddhist, that's what you have to supply.
Yeah. And that's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. But
plenty of notice though.
Yes, look, but once again, with Coldplay and that, we were catering for X amount of, I think it's about a 5-day gig, because there's all the setup crew, you've got to look after them, and it's breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Yeah,
so
wow.
your staff have to work 18 hours some days, but you get so much reward when they actually, the key artists walk through the kitchen and say hello, and they can see what you're doing. And they do. They come up and ask, well, where do those prawns come from? And you say, well, they're Shark Bay, MSC certified, which means Marine Stewardship Council, that the highest tick of sustainability you can get in seafood.
Yeah, wow.
And a point of that, the West Australian rock lobster industry was the first MSC certification about 12 years ago. So WA has a lot of MSC certified foods, which is a real tick of approval.
Amazing, yeah, absolutely. And that must give them that confidence.
Yeah.
We're not mucking around here. They're not getting some local guy to wing it. This is a high level quality that
and
they're getting.
Sustainable. That's what it's about.
Because if you look at some of these artists, they're basically athletes. I mean, I've heard my daughter's heavily into Taylor Swift, and I know that she sings her entire concert while she's on the treadmill, because she's so fit. They're dancing, they're singing, they're running off and on stage, doing clothing changes, the whole thing. You've got to make sure that you've got the energy to go on. And then not just that, like if they're doing Perth and then tomorrow night they're in Sydney and then it's Melbourne, it's back to back, and they might be 3 months into their tour. They can't cancel a concert because they've got diarrhea because they ate something bad,
Yeah. Tay-Tay, eh?
Yeah, bit tato. But that's my point. Like, it's like you look at Harry Styles. I mean, he's a full-on gig. You got to make sure you're catering right.
I remember him just walking through the kitchen with his entourage, and it's a buzz to be able to get up close to these people.
Yeah.
And on a lot of them, BAM, we are sworn to secrecy. We can't take pics. You can't go and bother them for an autograph.
Yeah.
You can't mention their names sometimes, but
That's fair enough. Yeah.
but some of them do come up and say, "Do you want a selfie holding up a fish from up in the Abrolhos Islands or something?" It's great.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And you go, wow. You know. Sorry, you go.
But that's doing those events, and I've done hundreds of events, even around the world. You mentioned some before, and I'd like to chat about a couple.
Please
of them,
do, yeah.
A couple of them later. But just doing events, there's so much time, energy, and passion goes into them, and at the end of the night, even though you might have done, and you do in my game, you can do 18-hour days, 2 or 3 in a row, because that's what you have to do to provide that level of wonderfulness, I suppose.
Yeah, and you've got your standards that you won't drop anyway.
Yes.
So you've got, no, it has to be here. But I think, with the years you've done it, an 18-hour day, correct me if I'm wrong, that's par for course. Like that's what you're in for. That's what you signed up for. Yeah.
I only do 17 hours a day now.
Oh, you're semi-retired, of course. Yeah, absolutely. You need that. Yeah, that's why I got the wine here, so you can have a wine and enjoy it.
Chin chin.
But yeah, walk me through this. Yeah, absolutely. What have we got here today?
Well, whenever I do these shows, I always get lots of different herbs because fresh herbs, you can use them and finish off dishes.
Yeah.
But for people that are renovating a kitchen and one of the key things to me, if you've got a passion about food, you've got to have fresh herbs. And why go down to Woolies or Coles and pay $2.99 for a tiny plastic wrap, little bit of dill or lemon myrtle or parsley in that?
Yeah.
So my key is if you love cooking, get some. Even if you don't have a lot of room, get some herbs, fresh herbs in pots.
Yeah.
So easy to grow.
I love it, and what's great about that is you've got where you've got your scullery area. These, like, everyone loves a good scullery. You go in your air kitchen. We've done it a few times. We actually have a glass door. You go outside, and your herb garden's just out there, and you're cooking dinner. And go, grab that, pick it, bang, and it's just it's a really nice way to cook because it's at your fingertips. But also, it's just fresh, it's yours, it's a good conversation piece while you're having dinner, and nothing beats homegrown cooked herbs. And if it's just outside your kitchen, it's too easy, really.
It's mentally extremely valuable for your well-being, just to go out and snip a little bit of parsley or chives and then chop them up and garnish them on top of your soup. It's a no-brainer. And honestly, for people that don't really have herb gardens, just make it happen, and you find you're out there and you forget about the world's worries. You're just talking to the plants.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're healthy and edible.
Hopefully not for too long you're talking to the plants, but So what plants have you got here today?
Well, these are grown at the back of my commercial kitchen in Osborne Park. This one's a lemon myrtle, and this is it here, Bane. I think you just crush that up and have a smell. It is exquisite.
Yeah, that is mind-blowing how powerful and fresh that is.
And Australia has over 100 different myrtles around the country. There's at least a dozen in Western Australia. This grows in pots. This is out of a pot, and it is so simple just to snip a little bit off. You can dry them out and this one here is a bay leaf.
Bay leaf, yep.
Or the English call it laurel.
Yep.
Once again, this is a little tree,
almost looks wet. Yeah, wow.
Tree out the back. You can dry these off and blitz them up and make the powder.
Yep.
Lemon myrtle powder is perfect, say if you're crumbing some fish and you put the lemon myrtle powder in the flour.
Yep.
And also on chicken and fish.
Yeah, the freshness of that already, even if you have a beer and you have lime, that is just so fresh. If you put that on a fish or anything like that, it'll bring those flavours out.
I wouldn't suggest smoking it, but that's up to you.
It's a different type of herb garden. But with the herb gardens, they need direct sunlight all the time. Is that? I mean, obviously it would change per herb, but
yeah, it's a bit like a kitchen. I've got a skylight in my kitchen, and when I bought into my little home in Balcatta, it didn't have a skylight, and now I've got one directly above the workbench. It's a natural light. It saves energy in summer.
I'm a big fan of skylights. Yeah.
And it's just, you can look up and you just get a little bit of relief from whatever is around you. You're looking at the sky. But yeah, herbs, once again, some require full sun, some like all my parsley, and mint's another one. Just get a mint, excuse me, a mint plant and put it in a pot because they spread out, but you want them in pots, and it just keeps on giving mint. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it comes down is mindfulness. Like the skylight, you know, it gives you that daylight, that sunlight. The herb garden out there, quick few moments in the garden. I think growing something's rewarding. You don't need a lot of space for herb gardens. You know, you can have those buckets above the ground, you have them below ground. We had a window at our last place where we had an outside window where the kitchen was, where, as a bit of a splashback. And I put a little shelf and we just had like the garden sitting under that. And you actually see the herbs through the window. There's all different ways you can actually do that, which I think is simple and it's great.
Down the driveway at my little home, I put in about 40 rosemary bushes. They had something rubbishy there before, but rosemary is another great herb to grow. So easy. And now in my kitchen under the skylight, I cut off some stalks of rosemary, stick them in a little bit of water, and invariably they'll send out tiny roots and you can replant them. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. But once again, it's just nice to have fresh herbs in your kitchen, even in pots. Yeah,
it's lovely, and that smell. Our neighbours actually grow rosemary in their front yard so that people walking by can just grab some. I think that's great. We explored that with another friend of mine who he reckons that everyone should have herb gardens at their front yard so that all the whole neighbours can go over there and help themselves, provided people don't take everything. But sharing is caring, but you got to have an understanding. But that's like the old days. We had lemon trees and apple trees and that. And hey, yes, we still get it where we live. And you put it on the verge, and hey, here's a box of lemons, and I reckon it's great.
Well, I put in 2 lemon trees at the front of my place because it only had 2 frangipanis. I've now got 2 lemons and a feijoa, which is we had a feijoa plant growing up in Bunbury, feijoa tree, and they're like a guava.
Yeah.
But they're so delicious, easy to grow. Got pomegranate tree growing. Yeah. But having lemons, I can't believe people, when lemons are not in season, they go down and pay $2 a lemon. Like, get a lemon tree in your garden.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you actually, change the topic here, what do you think of durian? Because I had a client yesterday give me some durian, the Malaysian clients who we're doing a subdivision for, and they gave us some durian yesterday, and they were in chocolates, like chocolate durian, and I opened it up, and the whole office could smell it from miles away. Riley freaked out. He goes, mate, that does not smell great, but it's it's a quiet taste, but the taste is very different to the smell.
Yes.
What are because that's not is that hard to cook with? Have you had much experience with that?
Well, I prefer Durian Bay actually up north, but no, look, I've spent a lot of time in parts of Asia, Cambodia, Laos or Lao as they call it, Vietnam.
Good beer.
Durians, the smell still blows me away, but the exquisite flavours of the fruit is amazing.
Yeah.
But they're doing durian chocolates.
Well, that's what we had. We've got one here. You can give you one after if you like.
I like that. Yeah, but you see in Asia on the bus, no durians allowed, and you think, what nationality is that? But it's, don't bring these smelly things on board.
Exactly. Yeah, it's they're not against the actual fruit. They're against the actual smell of it. No, it's fantastic. And the salts that you've got here?
The salt, this is Lake Deborah, beautiful salt. Now, this is a West Australian salt, and it's harvested up on the edge of the Goldfields, Southern Cross. It's a 5 million year old lake system, and it can't be classed as organic because salt doesn't have a classification to be organic, but it's pristine salt. And once again, West Australian, I love supporting WA produce. The family behind this band started harvesting in Esperance, because there's those beautiful pink salt lakes down there. Back in the 1955, I think, just around the year I was born, but that's telling people my age. But look, this once again, it's a great salt, and salt's not expensive, so why not support WA?
Yeah, we get Lou, my wife, often buys pink salt, and you can really tell the difference. It's WA as well. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's really nice. But you got two. You got pure salt, and you've got the
grinder salt.
Yeah. So what's for the grinder, obviously. But basically, I mean, I never really appreciated salt until you have different salt, and then you go, oh, wait a second, it's amazing different.
Well, it's interesting. This is defined like as a sweet salt, but not sweet as in dessert sweet.
Yeah.
It's just more rounded. It's got a lot of flavour to it. But a human being can't last more than 2 or 3 weeks without salt. It's an integral element in our well-being.
Yeah, well, I play water polo and I cramp up, and it's always, do you not have enough salt?
You need to drink more water, or are you playing in the pool?
No, yeah, playing in the pool. Yeah. No, I'm actually in the pool, and we're all getting old, and the body's going, you should not be doing this. But yeah, often always goes, you need more salt. But that's sort of how it works. But no, it's really important. So what was the company called? Sorry,
Lake Deborah. Which is, if you Google it, it's a very pristine area. There's no people live around there. And if you want to go and check it out, well, you can't actually. It's a private, but
you can check it out by buying it. Yeah, have your little bit of it too. No, that's awesome. Well, speaking of actually produce and stuff, so at our wedding, we gave significant people in our lives basically an olive tree as a gift in a pot plant. It was smaller than what we've got behind us, and the pot plant was about this size here, and gave it to my parents and my wife's parents and so forth. And we gave you one as well. Yeah. I think you're the only person that managed not to kill theirs, and we're going to get those photos sent in to see where it is now.
Right, so the potted olive that you gave me sat on my home in Vincent Street, Mount Lawley, for a few years, and then when I moved to Balcatta, I put it at the back of my commercial kitchen in Osborne Park. Yeah. There was nothing out the back. It was just a bit of concrete, and that's where we kept the bins. But I built some. Well, I didn't build. I'm not a good handyman. I had some big plant boxes built, and your olive tree that you gave me is at least. Well, I have to prune it every year. It's at least 6-7 metres tall.
That is
I'll send you
6 to 7 metres tall. Yeah. Right, that is crazy. But yeah, I mean, you survive. I mean, if we were to write down then who's going to make this thing thrive, you definitely would be number one on our list. But that's amazing. Yeah, I absolutely have to see. I haven't seen it for a while, so I'd love to see that.
It's unfortunate, but the cannabis trees you gave me, I don't know where they just exist.
Yeah, I know. Someone picked them all for some reason.
We won't bring that up.
Yeah, no, they can't come up. But no, that's fantastic. Yeah, so the pepper, yep.
Aussie pepper. Now, Australia, Western Australia doesn't grow pepper, unfortunately, but I was in Cairns a few weeks ago and I heard about this place. It's the only place in Australia that grows peppercorns.
Where are they normally grown?
Oh, Cambodia. Cambodia is and that whole peppercorns, there was French influence. Like the French took over Cambodia back whenever, and they started, and the French chefs and bakers wanted peppercorns. There's a beautiful place called Kep, K-E-P. It's about 2.5 hours. It's quite on the edge of the Gulf of Siam.
Yep.
They grow pink peppercorns over there, and it's just simply stunning.
So, but this place does it in Australia?
Yes.
So is it normally the climate is that very common here? Or?
It's the climate and something to do with the soils as well. But this one place, it's an hour drive south of Cairns, and a place called Silkwood. So once again, even though I promote WA, I promote Australia.
WA, Australia. Yeah, no, that's great.
And I hope this is West Australian wine, isn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. I think so. Yes.
My mum used to say, son, you got to stay hydrated. So that helps me along.
Well, no, that's what we hear to wet your whistle, make it work for you. So getting on to the topic, so kitchen. So I'll tell a story because when we were discussing our weddings about 19 years ago, I've been in the industry for 25, so I'm about 5 years into my career at this point. And I remember going to your house, and your kitchen was a modest kitchen but you had the big backyard, you had the herb gardens happening, the whole thing. And we went in there, and you guys sit here. You said sit here. You told us where to sit, because obviously there's nothing worse when you have the mother-in-law or someone standing next to you while you're trying to cook. I've just got to get past you. And I remember you sat us down there. I'm not picking mother's-in-law. Anyone can do that, and they're chatting away. And you sat us down and you gave us a glass of wine and you said, hey, have this glass of wine, and here's something to nibble on. And you're putting olives in front of us and canapes and different food. But it was all on the island bench. So that whole bench was there. We had a table like this table here that we could work off. And you were giving us this food, talking to us, having a chat while you're turning around and grabbing stuff from the pantry, whatever it might be. And it really, I went, wow, this is actually great. One, we're out of your way. Two, we're still having a chat to you. You don't have all this crap on the bench that is in the way, like a tap or sink and blocking it. It was a great conversation. It was like a table, great conversation. So I thought, you know what? And this is 19 years ago. And I'm there going, wow, I learned a lot from the day. And ever since then, I've been recommending to people to, don't have your sink, and this is how I feel, don't have your sink on the island bench. Or if you do, have it to one side. So you've got plenty of bench to chat with your mates. You've got kids and they're doing homework, they can chat to you. You've got friends over, the whole thing. And it's a great conversation piece to have. And I want to get your opinion on what makes a good kitchen these days in your professional sense, but also, does what you do as a professional correlate with what you do at home, or do you throw all that out the window because you obviously got a team of people? What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I love the idea of open flat bench because just growing up in Bunbury, we had a wood fire in the kitchen, a Meta's stove, I think they were called, back in those days. And basically, other than the lounge room, which also had a wood fire, the kitchen was where our family spent most of their time. And big bench where Mum would cook, and then we had the table. We had to sit down for dinner at 6 o'clock every night. Yeah. If you were 5 minutes late, better watch out.
That's healthy.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
And there was, thank God, there was no mobile phones and no computers. We talked.
Yeah.
And so that's important to me, that the kitchen is a communal place.
Yeah.
Where you can have your highs, talk about your highs and your lows. And once, if you've got some good food, that's spiritually so warming and nourishing. And to be able to, like, I love cooking, but I also love chatting. And when you can do that together and feed people, it's just the right way to go. But big benches, uncluttered as much as possible.
Yeah, I love it. And it's like right now we've got microphones in front of us. Well, people have a laptop when they're working. It's a physical barrier. But when you have it open and you're doing an activity like having nibbles or a glass of wine or whatever, but that chance to chat and you're keeping active, I think it's a great mixture of having a good time and spending good time together.
So that's one of the key assets to me in a kitchen is uncluttered benches, and also a skylight to bring that natural light in. And also the right amount of refrigeration. And it obviously depends on how much space you've got. But I remember when my first restaurant was in Augusta.
Yep, lovely.
And
got a photo of you up on there still in Augusta.
Oh, there you go.
We were talking about that before the show. There was the big photo of you, and every time we go, there he is. Down there I think we're down there in summer, just gone, and we went, summer earlier this summer.
Summer, that's Indonesian.
Yeah. But, so keep going.
I was 24 years of age when I started that, and then I started another one at Yellingup called Surfside.
Yep.
But during that time, I met a lot of Perth people that would come to my restaurants, and they came because it was a focus on local seafoods and just what I call real food.
Yeah.
Not over the top fancy, but it definitely had depth and flavour. But I made a lot of friends from people from Perth, and especially the Western Burbs.
Yeah.
And that's when I started coming to Perth to do the odd catering job. And I remember because these people not only were clients and customers, but they became friends.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I did one in Peppy Grove, I won't mention who it was, very well-known people, and they had a walk-in cool room in their kitchen, like a walk-in cool room, amazing. I mean, I didn't even have a walk-in cool room at my first kitchen.
Yeah, that's crazy,
And that blew me away because... One, that they obviously did a lot of catering. They can buy food. They had, crates and boxes of produce to turn it over. So the point I'm making is to make sure you build enough room for as big a size fridge or fridges as you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's often forgotten. I think people just do a 1 metre wide recess. Whereas, you even get refrigerated drawers these days where you can actually get the drawer out that's got a fridge. And it all comes down to space, but even if you have another fridge in your laundry or another space in the home, think about it because you're never going to regret doing it.
No. And who hasn't had a party where you get a bit stressed because people are bringing platters and you've got to put them somewhere, and just try and de-stress as much as you can.
Absolutely.
So definitely as much cool room space.
Yeah. You don't have to have an actual cool room though.
No, well, I call them refrigerators.
I'm joking. You're not saying you must have a cool room in your home, but if you can afford it, go for it.
Yeah. So the other thing is ovens.
Yep.
And once again, under bench ovens where you've got to bend down, not good for the back.
Yeah.
It's dangerous bringing hot foods out if you're doing a roast and there's a little bit of liquid hot oils. So
you got to reach down and get them up, don't you?
Yeah. And ovens are really important, but good quality ovens.
Yeah.
Like in my commercial kitchen, I'm not saying put this in your home, but I've got two 10-tray ovens.
Yeah, wow.
Beautiful ovens, but they're $27,000 each.
Yeah.
Maybe just put one in.
Yeah. But I think you're right there. Investing in good appliances makes a difference. And what I think people have to be aware of at home is that, and we had actually Hart & Co in the other day talking about appliances, right?
Okay.
And basically, but what they were saying though, and I agree, is that you come in with a cheaper, like people go, they tick a box, they hear a brand, they go Miele, for example. And I'm just chitting around that. And it might be the entry level Miele that they're getting with the builder. They've got, oh, you got any Miele? Oh my God, tick, great. Right. But then when you got to do the research to find out what level you're getting, and I'm not picking a Miele, it could be any brand, that you might get an entry level one. That's not the brand you're thinking, that's not the product you're thinking. You got to research and go, what is it doing? What am I getting for my product? And is this going to cater for what I want? Am I catering for a family of 15 people or guests of 15 people every weekend? Or is that once a year? Does the appliance do what you want? And if you have to invest a little bit more money to get the right appliances, money well spent.
And if you regularly service clean them, they last for decades.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you mentioned Hart & Co because I've done a couple of gigs at Hart & Co.
Yep.
And when they had this new rotisserie come in, that you can have your own rotisserie, like where you can put a couple of chooks on and just through the glass window you can see.
Amazing.
Like it's stunning, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So was the price.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If that's your dream, I mean, kitchens are built to last, and you might as well think about carefully what you want as a cook, what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
And work from that.
Yeah. No, look, I think, again, it's the most important room of the house, and they're not kidding. And you got to do that. What's great about Hart & Co, not to give them too much of a plug, what's great, and I think a lot of places do this now too, is that when you're choosing your appliance, they'll invite you in for a cooking event where they actually use your appliance and show you how to use it.
Yeah.
And that's huge because I've had a really nice appliance in my home before. And when about 2 weeks before we actually moved out of the home, we worked out we actually looked at the instructions and went, I didn't know it could do that. So investing that time into finding out what you've actually bought, it goes a long way.
And also pantry space, once again, depending on the size of your kitchen, but just having the pull-out drawers and having a decent size pantry.
Yeah.
I remember one event I did in Peppy Grove. Won't mention the person's name, of course.
Yeah.
But she showed me her kitchen, and it was massive. Like it's probably 3 times the size of this room.
Yeah.
Lots of cupboards, lots of fridges, not many appliances. And I said, whereabouts is your pots and pans? And she went, I think over here.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful kitchen, but
yeah.
And the lovely lady had no interest in food, so she got people in to cook.
Yeah.
But once again, work out what you want as a cook, because you're going to be in there for quite a bit of time, and what you produce is really important, as I said, for people's well-being.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do an extension of our house, or we're going to do a renovation. We're going to move kitchens that are around our house when I finally get around to it, because I don't exactly come home and want to start doing my own renovation because this is what I do for a living.
Fair call.
But it's funny, our kitchen is actually quite small. It's basically 2.5 metres currently by about 2.5 metres in size. It's really small. But for a one person, it's brilliant because everything is at your finger. The oven's here, the fridge is here. It's really, if you have any other person and a dog in there, it's horrible. And we're going to do a much bigger kitchen next time round. But yeah, it's actually like we've talked about. Oh, it'd be good to have a big kitchen. Actually, it's really like everything is at your fingertips. It's quite convenient. And I think, just to my point, I think that often people do these big square kitchens, and you have to take 3 steps or 4 steps to get to the other side of it. Or if you've got all these, like that, it sounds like that kitchen's really big. You've got all these islands in the way. It's not functional. because everything's you actually run a marathon by the time you get to the end of it. It's got to be functional.
That's super important. We call that workflow.
Yep.
And I've been involved in working on dozens of new building commercial kitchens, and and sometimes they get someone that doesn't know anything about kitchens to build these kitchens.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and you walk into them and the workflow is atrocious. So you're stepping over people, you just can't find anything, and they've paid. If you're going to design a commercial kitchen, get a chef or chefs who have worked in them, and they'll go, no, you can't have that bench there because of this. And it's a no-brainer, but once again, to have things at your fingertips cuts time and a lot of stress.
Yeah, but you also got to think about how you're going to use it. Like a common one that we give people advice on is you want to have bin, sink, dishwasher, scrape, rinse, dishwasher. You don't want to go sink, bin, dishwasher because you're rinsing or scraping, rinsing, dishwasher, and you're stepping over yourself. So it's really just mapping it out. And I think it's as simple as going to your current kitchen and going, oh,
what works?
What I want to reach for, and then just think about it as you do and write it down, and that will help you navigate, how it's going to work for you. So obviously, when you're looking at commercial kitchens, though, there's probably 2 or 3 people working in them at any one time. So they've probably got stations as opposed to one person doing all the cooking.
True.
Yeah. Is that how you do it with commercial kitchens? You got to think about, well, how many staff do you going to have here? Or?
Yes. What capabilities do you need? So as we speak, I've got 24 students in my commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And that they take up about 2/3 of the kitchen, and there's probably 12 mobile benches in that. And then down what I call the co-share end is another 6 benches, all mobile, where people that come in to make food randomly 3 or 4 hours, they work.
Yeah. But you have it on wheels, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So that's, if you've got the space, you can have, and I love stainless steel benches.
I was going to come to that. Yeah,
I love stainless steel benches, and also marble tops are great.
Do you mean stone or marble in particular?
The one that's safe.
Yeah.
Marbles are great.
Yeah, the non-aesthetic one. Yeah.
So is the wallet.
Yeah.
But yeah, your workflow, it's a good point you made. How do you see the kitchen?
Yeah.
What do you do? And well, maybe I use. Going back to stovetops too, gas or electric.
Yeah.
What's your preference?
I like induction. I think induction is great, with the idea that one, I just think it's convenient and quick, and I'm flat out all the time. So whatever's fast is great. But to offset that with an outdoor barbecue.
Yes.
That's good. So I go, well, if you're going to do wok cooking or something like that and you don't want induction, then I would go outside for the gas barbecue. But I'm massive. Like if you look at my designs that I've done for people, they've always got kitchen off alfresco areas, always kitchen near the outdoor. Because I believe in Australia it's all about indoor-outdoor living.
Yes.
So why have one of the house designs I dislike or I'm against is when they have kitchen, meals, family, alfresco at the very end. So you're about 8 meters. You're in the kitchen. You're 8 or 9 meters away from the outdoor area, and you're there going, oh. They're making a salad in the kitchen. Oh, they look like they're having a great time. I wish I knew what they were talking about while people were outside near the pool or having a barbecue. So to me, having the kitchen right near your outdoor area where you can flow from indoor to outdoor easily and have a chat, you can almost have a conversation with a person while you're walking outside. That to me makes a big difference. And that's where I see that if you really want to use gas cooking, use a barbecue. If you want induction, and that's my thought on it. What do you think?
That's an important move, because yes, we are al fresco lifestyle here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to walk 10 minutes and say, oh, forgot the salt, got to go back in.
I use the exact analogy, yeah.
Forgot the Lake Deborah salt, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, no, not the Lake Deborah.
But, the workflow is super important.
Yeah. But also your kitchen with your lifestyle too. Yeah, like I always go, what's your lifestyle? When we talk to clients, I go, tell me, do you like entertaining? What do you like doing? Do you want to, big one for us is, do you want a swimming pool? Like if they say we want a swimming pool, that immediately tells me indoor, outdoor living.
Yes.
And we need to make this like, you want to be in the kitchen, you want to be able to look up and see the pool and look back down without going somewhere. So why not have that suit our Australian lifestyle but functional at the same time?
And gas, as a chef, you grow up on cooking with gas.
Yep.
The inductions weren't around in the days.
It was electric back then, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the look, I'm not sure of the environmental benefits, but there's now little villages popping up where there is no gas connection.
Yeah.
So you probably are going to have to go induction.
Yeah.
And induction's great, but I'll tell you one kind of story that was super stressful. I was the MC, the stage manager of the first gourmet escape.
In
Margaret River at Lewin Estate. And back in the 80s, I set up the first ever restaurant at Lewin Estate. Won a Gold Plate award then, and also won a Gold Plate at my darling Augusta restaurant.
As you do, yeah, well done.
But at this gourmet escape, big cooking stage, all the equipment was new, and it was the Miele induction. Now, I had no experience with that, but it's pretty easy to work out.
Yeah.
And I had one of the world's best chefs on stage with me, a guy called Rene Redzepi, who's got Nomu in Norway, I think.
Yep.
And what happened, the stage, the equipment was stunning, but the sun came across the top and we started cooking. He was cooking and I was kind of commentating. But the sun hit the top and you could not see any...
the reflection.
Oh, it was just horrendous.
You're almost wearing sunnies to...
You just couldn't see where to turn it on and what temperature. And we've got microphones and he's saying to me, I can't see this bloody thing. And I'm going, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. People are staring at you.
Yeah. And it's one of those times when you're on stage and talking to people and something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And you can have a blind spot where you go, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, and he was sort of talking, we kept conversation going, and luckily the Miele guy was behind because they were promoting that equipment. And I called him out and he was looking at it and he helped us cook.
Yeah. It was almost like he was interpreting, as you go,
So induction to me is great, but gas, as I said, I grew up on. I like to see the flame. I know how hot it is. Turn it down.
But that's just pure skill, and experience coming through. I think the reason why, I would say probably 60 to 70% of our clients are going induction. A big push for that is just energy costs. Yep. So gas to your home, if you're cooking with gas. If you go induction, then you can get the a bigger kilowatt solar on your roof, and that's going to pay for most of your bills. So that's why there's such a big push. There's actually a lot of people not putting gas to their property at all these days. But I think, if you like cooking with gas, you can have the barbecue. You can always get the gas bottles for that, and that gives you the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Because you get the nice smoke coming off.
Yeah, it's lovely. But cooking outside is it's nice. On a spring, autumn summer day, not the rain that we had this winter, but at the end of the day, I think it comes back to that mindfulness, that beautiful. Love that you also mentioned skylights. We've got a skylight expert coming on the podcast shortly, but we've got I love a good skylight. I go to so many people's homes, and I've seen thousands and thousands of houses in my time. And every time I see a skylight drops, and we're not talking a solar tube for people at home, we're talking a really nice skylight. Right. Every time it stops me in my tracks. So I just go, wow, that's just brilliant. And I think that happiness that it brings with you, with that natural light coming through, you can't beat it.
Well, it just opens up another avenue, and you're not looking at walls, you've got...
Yeah.
Mother Nature.
The heavens have opened up.
There you go.
Yeah, as you come down. Although I always reckon it would freak you out if you looked up and there was like a head looking down at you while you're looking up there. But, you got to cross those bridges when you get to it.
Or a bird having a little...
Yeah, checking you out. I reckon, have you been there when there's been like lightning storms and thunderstorms?
No.
Because it'd be cool seeing that lightning while you're cooking or whatever. Yeah.
That's normally just smoke coming from a pan.
Yeah. You got to clean it as well. That's how it works in that perspective.
The skylights, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as much window as possible, like natural light.
Yeah. I think if you don't have lots of natural light and going, if you have like an internal kitchen, you want to make that as light as possible. Have that light and bright and happy. But if you go dark and moody and you're in a darker room, then it doesn't have that homeliness sort of thing. In my opinion, though,
it's Synergy, I call it.
Synergy, I like that. I might still have Synergy. I like it a lot. So with the appliance placements, do you have like the triangle where you've got to have your sink, a hot plate, in like a triangle sort of convenient, or do you like them in a row? Like I personally like sink and hot plate in a row so you can actually chat to each other, maybe look out a window.
Yes.
Do you have a preference for any of that, or each their own?
I like the triangle concept, but also like having a sink close to the induction cookers or the gas cookers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to move. Like I was cooking pasta the other night in a big pot, boiling water. You don't have to walk too far for that.
Yeah.
There's a safety aspect to
Great
the
point.
placement of your sinks and that.
Yeah.
And sinks, as big as sinks as you can fit in.
Yeah.
Like 2 sinks.
Yeah, 2 big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was, excuse me, cooking at someone's house and they had 1 sink and you're trying to, it's unnecessary chaos.
I don't know
need
why
it.
you would do it. Like at least 1.5. Like you've got something you want to rinse out and you've already got hot water there or something. Like you can't do it. Like, I agree with you. What are your thoughts? Like there's a big, a lot of people want sculleries these days. And a scullery typically is another room, a walk-in pantry, a bench. What a lot of people are doing are double sinks in there. And that's your main sink in the scullery. And then you might have a door going outside or something like that. And then in your main fridge, you have a single sink. Now, I'll tell you my issue with that. And I've said this to a lot of people, I'm happy to debate because everyone each to their own, is that, one, you're inside a linen cupboard doing the dishes, basically, and staring at a wall. 2, if you have a nice party and you've got good friends, often they'll help you out and they'll actually do the dishes with you and you're not in the linen cupboard together. But also, if you have a dinner party, now the idea of a scullery is put all your dirty dishes in there, the kitchen still looks pristine and beautiful. However, once you put them in the dishwasher, which I assume is also in the scullery, when you want to put the dishes away, you got to go back into the main kitchen and put your dishes away. And then it doesn't make sense to me. So to me, I would have the main sink in the main kitchen, and like you said, the safety part, and then maybe a smaller sink in the scullery, and that's where you wash out your NutriBullet or your Thermomix. Where I get the idea of scullery,
your glassware.
yeah, and that to me makes more sense. I'm curious. There's no right or wrong. What do you think?
That's what I would go with because I like the idea of a walk-in pantry because you've got, if you're keen on cooking, you end up with a lot of products.
Yeah.
And you're dead right about because in Bunbury growing up, and as I said, our main life was around the kitchen, and our sink was the wash-up sink was behind Mum's big prep bench.
Yeah.
And as a kid, Dad would wash, bless him. He would always wash up, and one of us 4 kids would have to do the drying up.
Yeah.
So that became that family discipline.
And have a little chat as well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We'd have a little bitch to Dad about whatever was going on in our lives.
Yeah.
Bless him. And but no, I think to have that connection is definitely just the right way to assimilate a kitchen. But but if you can have a walk-in pantry.
Yeah, and I guess, like you said, you got a lot of products that you can pull on. You want to be able to see what's there. Oh, I forgot I got some of that or whatever. That's the beautiful thing about a walk-in pantry. I think a huge mistake people make is when they've got a built-in pantry and they do 2 little doors. Yeah. Because you got something in your hand and you've got to open up each door. You want to have a big opening and a door that you can get there, or ideally a walk-in pantry that. And I think if you got it in a scullery, you don't even have to have a door in it. You just walk around the corner.
There you go.
And see it. But you just want convenience, quick, easy, and you're normally, dirty. You got something, you got stuff in your hands or whatever. You want to be able to get in there, get out.
You can hang your aprons up in there. You try and find your 3 thermixes, thermomixes.
Yeah, the part that's missing that you need.
It's funny you mention equipment because that can be kept. Like a lot of places have so much stuff on the bench. It's clutter.
Yeah.
Necessary
Clutter,
goodies, but they can be stored and brought out when needed.
Yeah.
But people van often ask me, what's the best bit of equipment you can have in a kitchen?
Yeah.
What do you think that would be?
I know it's going to be a trick question. Yourself, is that for you? Don's the best equipment you can have in the house.
It's very expensive these days.
Well, $27,000 ovens, you'd think so. Yeah. I would have said, I would have said something like good appliances. But nice, there you go. Well,
these are the best bits of equipment you can have in the kitchen, and sharp knives too.
Yeah.
It's
What are your preferred knives? What have you got there?
Look, it really. I do like the Japanese. There's some kind of cheaper ones. I'm just trying to think of the brand. That's what they use. They've got the very hard plastic handles. I should know the name. Can't remember.
We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah.
And they're really good. But I've had some of my knives for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
And just keep them sharp. And if you don't know how to sharpen them, get a knife sharpener in.
Yeah.
I've got a knife sharpener that comes to the kitchen about every 2 months, my commercial kitchen.
Well, you need to, don't you?
Yeah, and he sharpens not only mine, but some of the hires' knives.
Yeah. Yeah, so they supply their own equipment with that?
Absolutely,
kind of
100%.
Yeah.
In the good old days, when I first sort of pivoted to kitchen hires, it was my commercial catering kitchen. But then I started people wanting to hire the kitchen. I let them use all my equipment.
Yeah.
And especially with the schools, over 2 or 3 years, my 10 big storage units of equipment went down to about 3.
Yeah, wow.
And most of them were burnt or broken.
Yeah.
Probably the other one stolen. But now I say to people, you bring your own equipment.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
once again...
Because they don't respect it the same way you will.
No, and this is... you learn that as an apprentice chef, this is the best tool in the kitchen. Keep them sharp, buy quality.
Yeah, and though you did it wrong. Yeah.
I often go to Kitchen Warehouse. It's that's like a showroom for... It's beautiful walking through there.
Yeah, well, that's it, though, especially if you're passionate about it. But you're right, though. If you have a good, sharp knife, especially if you know how to use it, like I have no doubt your skill at cutting up will be a lot better than mine. Yeah, mine will be...
Yeah.
Bayan, you're killing me. Like, get out of the kitchen. But yeah, no, I think that's great. Now, with the kitchen layouts, and obviously you've got to get the right utensils for you. And again, going a bit deeper here, if you've got things like pot drawers, I'm a big fan of a shallower pot drawer up top. To have a thinner one where you can get all your utensils, grab a knife, bang, it's straight out. And then have, my personal preference, 2 deeper ones below that equal size. And maybe have 2 or 3 like that. So you get all your utensils, ideally an island for me. And then I'd recommend that you have because pot drawers are the best things in the world. Like, it saves your back, it's easy to get everything. But also, I reckon 2 equal size pot drawers somewhere else in the kitchen where you can have the slow cooker or the bigger pots and you can get to them as well. That's sort of my thinking. I'm not a professional chef. What are your thoughts?
Agreed. Pots in one place. That way you can store them correctly.
Yeah.
Because a good pot then... And I always go, you've got to buy pots with a thick base.
Yeah.
There's a lot cheaper ones out there. They burn quicker. They don't last as long. And so a pot drawer is a really good concept. And the bigger the better, because sometimes when I'm making a stock or a soup, I want to do, if pumpkins are in season, I want to do a pumpkin, ginger, carrot and fennel soup.
Yeah.
I'll make enough that I can box up and freeze.
Yeah, wow.
So big pots and quality pots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely pot drawers.
And pot drawers to cater for that, yeah. Because they're just so convenient. And a big thing that I'm saying to clients is, like, why spend $1,000 a linear metre on overhead cupboards when often the pot drawers are going to cater for... Like, you could have a smaller kitchen catering for more things than a bigger kitchen purely from the carrying capacity of the pot drawers. So... often save the money and spend it on more pot drawers, or spend it on other things in your home that, thicker stone, marble, whatever you want to do. It's I think that's changing. I think pot drawers have made a huge difference to the way people live. Yeah.
And I don't mind overhead cupboards, but if you have less of them, you've got more space. You're not
bigger
being
window light.
cluttered.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And that uncluttered feel is relaxing. Yeah.
And I'm sure you remember back to some days where someone's got something right up in the top cupboard and it never gets used, or it gets just falls out one day.
Yeah. Or when you move house, you remember it and you go, no, now I know it. I won't throw it out. And you take it to the next house the next house and the next house. And 20 years later, why don't I throw this bloody thing out,
That's a good tip. If you've got goodies in your kitchen you don't use, give them to a good home, give them to the Red Cross or some charity that can sell them to someone that wants them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Minimise.
Absolutely. Or if you have something like, let's say, a fondue set that you use once in a blue moon.
Fondue.
I reckon if you're looking at a good fondue, if you see something that you use regularly, I reckon if you're doing a clean out, what you do is you go, okay, that fondue set, I haven't used that, but I love a good fondue. You stop right there. You text your friends that you want to invite to a fondue party. Guys, let's book something in, pick a date right there, and use the bloody fondue set. And if you don't do it, out. Yeah. Because otherwise, you're not going to think about it again. I've got to use that fondue set. No one wakes up in the morning on a Wednesday and goes, fondue. Could do a fondue in the next couple of weeks.
They're coming back in, fondues, the last
couple of years. Did they ever leave?
Well, kind of. A bit like garlic prawns and prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
They're classics. They never die out, but they have their waves of popularity.
If there was any food I could eat for the rest of my life, if someone said you can only pick one food, it is a prawn cocktail. That is my favourite. The problem I've done, And I introduced my family, my daughter especially, and my son as well, to prawn cocktails. And she will say, "Oh, she's done well at school grades," and she'll go, "Well, what do you want?" And she'll go, prawn cocktails.
Prawn cocktail.
It's a bloody expensive option there, but they're amazing.
Well, the Shark Bay prawns, they're MSC certified, that Marine Stewardship Council that I mentioned before. Great prawns.
Yeah.
There's some now called Skull Island. Now, they're not WA, but they're in the Gulf of Carpentaria. Stunning prawns. They're big ones. And Skull Island, it's a great name.
Yeah, exactly right. People are going to remember that. So, look, Don, we can talk forever about this. Got a question for you that we ask everybody, which is an important one. So you're building your home or renovating your home, and someone's giving you a check for $10,000, but you have to spend it on your home. You spend it on anything. What would you spend it on?
Well, 10 grand would be a good deposit to get me in to cook a dinner.
There you go.
So that's it. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get done. Cook yourself a dinner. Yeah.
It'll get you a lot of prawn cocktails for 10 grand, but that's only for 2 people.
Well, that's good.
So what was the question again?
So you got $10,000, right? You're going to build or renovate your own home. What's something that you would actually spend on your home? So to give you an example, some people have said, look, I would spend it on painting my whole house because get really good colours. Someone has said I'll get a really good rug. Some people have said artwork. Some people have said upgrade my appliances to whatever. What would you spend it on? Just putting you on the spot here.
Given that I know the benefits of fresh herbs, you can even get mini aquaponics gardens now.
Yeah.
Something that will keep on giving. It's healthy, environmentally friendly.
What are they? Sorry,
aquaponics is where you grow herbs and vegetables in water.
Yeah, okay, wow.
And you can buy small ones. In fact, I'm working on a project of getting aquaponics into remote rural communities.
Yeah.
I've got a program called Kids in the Kitchen.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about that now, but it's...
tell us a bit about it. Go on. We've got
Kids in the Kitchen is when I was catering for the Ord Valley Muster up in Kununurra. I did that 2014, 15, 16. And we would... my role, my catering company was called Panorama Catering because of the giant pans that I used.
Yeah, man pans. Yeah, they had my wedding. Yeah, that's right, paella pans. Yeah.
74 kilo. Well, actually a brat pan, a paella pan is the Spanish, and they're a thinner metal.
Yeah.
Whereas the brat pan's cast iron. They weigh 75 kilo.
Is that what you had at my wedding?
Yes.
Yes. They're huge.
So I was doing the catering up at Kununurra, and we'd do 2 or 3 gigs during the taste of the Kununurra Festival, but the last one was a black tie dinner on the banks of the Ord River.
Yeah.
And it was between 500 and 600 people, and there's no kitchen there. You think about the amount of food and what you need to do for a $300 a head dinner.
Yeah. Amazing.
Anyway, they were great old days, but I wanted to give something back to the community up in the Kimberley, so I started the Kids in the Kitchen, which was a basic cooking comp where kids aged between 10 and 16 needed to create a recipe using local ingredients, wherever local is to them.
Yeah.
And it was focused on Indig kids, but it was open to every race and creed.
If you're interested, come along,
Yeah, and we ran that for 3 years, and it was so good. Just been up there the last 2 years. We're up there in July this year doing Kids in the Kitchen at the Kununurra Ag Show.
Yeah.
After the cooking comp, we've now realised we want to build in remote rural communities a aquaponics
herb garden?
Herb garden, covered in solar powered, all that kind of stuff for remote areas. So that's a real important part of my future. Going ahead, giving back to and getting kids inspired to get pathways into hospitality.
Well, that echoes your path in that. Like you look at what you're saying earlier about not being able to read a clock in that. To at that age you found cooking, and then bang, over 40 years later you've done so well. How many lives are you saving or helping or aiding to find a pathway for them that they may never have been, even anywhere remotely interested in or even know it was an option, to then get a taste of it, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And then who knows where they live. They might be the next Don Hancey. So, it's great that you give back for that. And you are extremely generous of your time, what you've done for, the rap list, we didn't even cover it, but the rap list of charities alone that you've helped out, let alone people directly, and even us, like you did our wedding for us as a huge favour. Like how you've affected so many people, which has been amazing. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Again, we could talk for 6 hours here. Really appreciate it. Your wealth of information. Your commercial kitchens, people can hire them. We'll put your information out on the show notes. Because I see your face pop up every time and on Facebook for me. But thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Love your work.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.